Hollywood is being rebuilt by artists not afraid to disrupt the status quo, telling fresh stories and bringing to life characters who until now have been confined to the margins. This is Emerging Hollywood. What's the future of people of color and African-American representation in media?
I think you have to break it down into different levels. When looking at Black people being represented on screen, Black Americans represented on screen, Black people represented on screen, you have to break it down into what's happening behind the camera, what's happening in front of the camera, what's happening in the boardrooms that control the world of cameras. Because those are all the pieces that define the world that we live in. And I think you can operate with a bit of nuance in this world, which people often don't enjoy because it is more difficult. I think we have to say that as Black creatives and as Black creators, we have an obligation to our own to create our stories. And again, it's not about saying, hey, white people, you're excluded. It's about saying, no, hey, let's take pride in telling our stories the same way for so long Hollywood and its original creators took pride in telling their stories. Mm-hmm. Just tell a story. The other part of it, though, has to acknowledge that there is a gate and there are gatekeepers. And those people have to give you the opportunity. So, in many ways, you can create as much as you want to create. You can work within the parameters that you can work within. But I think Hollywood as a whole, from the boardrooms through to the directors and the filmmakers and the writers, et cetera, they also have to realize that there is an opportunity to grow. For so long, people have made it seem like it's charity. Why don't you put Black people in your TV show? Wouldn't that be nice? It's not about nice. Think about the opportunity to grow. There's a saturation point. At some point, people have seen
every white story.
Every single white story out there. Every white story. They've seen it. And then a movie like Black Panther comes and people are like, there's something different about this movie. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something different about it. You can't put your finger on it? I don't know what it is. It was the freshest Marvel movie in a long time. You really can't put your finger on it? Really? And I think that's all it is. It's just like finding original stories, And it's the same thing that's happening in Hollywood with regards to women. Let women write stories. Let women tell their stories. It doesn't just have to be some guy who's writing a story about like, oh, she was beautiful, but she didn't know it until a guy discovered it for her. Mm-hmm. Why not just have a woman tell an authentic story? And you see it with beautiful films like Lady Bird, and you see it with beautiful Black films written by guys like Ryan Coogler. Mm-hmm. You see people like Ava DuVernay pushing storytelling in a different direction. And what you realize is it's not a Black movie. It's not a Black story. It's a story. It's a movie. And there are Black people who are the characters in it. And that appeals to anyone.
What story are you hoping to convey with your Born a Crime film based on your book?
Well, the hardest thing is trying to find a way to distill a book into a movie. Because, we all know the phrase, the book was better.
Yeah.
So how do I distill 20-odd years into less than 2 hours? Mm-hmm. That's going to be the biggest challenge. The main thing I think I want to convey in the movie, though, is a story. So the key will be figuring out how do I tell the story of a mother and son whose love exists in a world where it shouldn't, and how do I tell the story of a country that is existing even though it shouldn't? Because in many ways, South Africa is a story of impossibilities. A nation where a minority oppressed a majority, and once that majority achieved power, there wasn't a backlash. There wasn't a revolution where people were killed. In many ways, it was termed the bloodless revolution. And so how do you tell that story, and how do you tell the story on a macro level as well, where you look at these people, their family, the community, and the country that they grew up in, and how it all, I guess, culminated in this guy that you're speaking to right now and many people like me living in the world.
Is it hard to relinquish control to the writers, being that it's your real life and they might want to just spice it up a little bit?
I don't know if you can spice up my life, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see how you try and spice it up. I only realized how crazy my life was when I wrote the book about my life. Because I always have thought I just lived my life, And maybe it's because I grew up in a place where many people had crazy stories. Maybe you're a similar person. I remember reading your book, and the things and the people you've met are so crazy. Mm-hmm. But there are people out there who've lived, really just sanitized lives. So to them, your life is crazy.
Yeah.
But there are many people who'll be like, Charlamagne, what are you talking about? You lived a crazy life. Man, I lived a block away from you. My life was much crazier. And you're like, yeah, but my life is crazy to other people. Yeah. And so I don't think they'll need to spice it up. And luckily, I'll be working with them, not against them. So I'm excited.
Word. Trev, thanks for sitting with me, my brother.
Thank you, my dude. Thank
Yes,
you very
sir.
much for your time.
For more episodes of Emerging Hollywood, subscribe to The Hollywood Reporter on YouTube.